Hey guys, welcome to the channel again. It's Tadashi. This is my 20-hour Soul Hackers 2 first impressions video, kind of like a checkpoint before I get right back into the game. So I have about 20-25 hours played, and I actually had to stop playing the game to come do this because I really wanted to get my first impressions, and I didn't want to go too far into it before putting this out there, because I want y'all to see, and if possible to change your mind about the game, because I've been seeing a lot of reviewers, especially online on sites like IGN, that are kind of talking about certain things that I don't necessarily disagree with, criticisms that I don't necessarily disagree with, but criticisms that I believe that are, for the most part, like an apples to oranges comparison instead of being an apples to apples comparison. So I want to address that, and right off the bat I want to tell you that I love this game a lot. For me, so far it's like a 9 out of 10, and it's only 9 out of 10 because I haven't completed the game, but I'm sure it will be 10 out of 10. Like, it's really addictive, it's great. But let's just get right into it. So first of all, what is obviously good? The art style, the aesthetics. Yeah, it's great. They actually hired a new dude, a new art director. His name is Shiro Miwa. They actually, I guess they saw his art on Twitter or whatever they have over there, and they're like, oh, this is very good. And then they're like, we're gonna hire you, and you're gonna lead the art efforts for this game. And I think they did that. I know some people will be like, oh, but the Casu Mechanical art and whatever, and I think that fits really well. The Casu Mechanical art fits really well for Shin Megami Tensei. Because it's a dark and dreary environment, it's cold, it's edgy, and it fits really well. I'm not knocking him at all. However, I do believe because they wanted to reboot Soul Hackers as a pillar franchise of the company. Remember, their pillar franchises are Shin Megami Tensei, Persona, and now Soul Hackers. I think they needed to hire a new art director to give a different vision and a new direction to this rebooted franchise to differentiate it from Shin Megami Tensei and Persona. And so they hired this new guy to do it, and they succeeded, in my opinion, in making the game seem familiar but different. Familiar in the sense that they applied this person's Shiro Miwa's art style to the various demons, right? So the demons that we all know and love, like Jack Frost, etc, whatever, they all look the way we expect them to look, but with the style of this person, and it looks really great and different in the sense that the human characters, they do look a bit different. They don't look Persona-ified, right? The Shigenori Sojima style, which is the Persona style, is a lot smoother, right? It's a lot subtler, and this guy's style for designing humans is a bit more jagged and sharp and like out there and like in your face, right? It's more prominent, and so that's what he kind of brings that's different, and I really like it. Like the neon designs, like, oh, it's so cool. Let's talk about character design. On that point, Ringo's my favorite character. She looks cool, everything, her personality, the way she looks, and what's amazing and what I really love about their character design in this game is how they manage to tell you what someone's personality is, what a character's personality is, just by looking at them. Like, you look at Ringo, and she has this like neon green like jacket, and she's like wearing like this short shorts, and like she is like her hair is glowing, dude, and like her eyes are like all pink, like to make the contrast with the neon green, and man, and you can tell, like, okay, that person is probably not gonna be like quiet and reserved, right? And she's not. She's exuberant, she's ecstatic, she's like hyper, she's always on the move. She's like if you think of, now that I said that, always on the move, you just think of like Anakin Skywalker. She certainly is that type of person that kind of just throws herself into the conflict, like, you know, shoot first, ask questions later type of person, and you can see that through the way she is assigned, and to me that's great design. And obviously I said Ringo because you have her sister Fig, or her partner Fig, who is more reserved. She also has like the neon colors, right? But it's like a purple. It's like a more toned down kind of color than the neon green, right? It doesn't stand out as much. And she has like the hair. I don't believe her hair glows. I would have to go look at that, but I don't believe so. And she's like, her way of talking is more mellow and more like, hey, we should be more careful about this. We should think about this more. Like, Ringo, you can't be doing this. It's like dangerous and whatever. So she's like, and you can tell that is the way she is just by looking at her. And for that reason, I think the character designs are really telling of what their personalities are, especially you know, in Ringo, who is my favorite character, but not just in them, also in like some of the background characters that you see. You can tell kind of what they're like before they even speak, and then they speak and you're like, yep, this is exactly what I expected, and it's great, right? But let's move on. The music. They hired the people that made the music for Nier Automata. The name escapes me right about now. I think it's like Monaka or something. But anyway, these guys teamed up with the Atlas Sound team again to give the rebooted Soul Hackers a different but familiar feel in the music. However, it's interesting because they actually... I bought the DLC that has the different background musics for combat, and I put the Soul Hackers, the original Soul Hackers music, and so I was playing the game and I was just kind of hearing the Soul Hackers combat music playing, and I was like, oh yeah, bro, this is banging. And I didn't even notice, like, I forgot completely that I had put the Soul Hackers, the original music there. And I was fighting, I was like, oh yeah, bro, this song is banging, bro. Soul Hackers 2 is so good. And then I look at my options. I went into my options for some reason, I don't remember, but I saw that I had the Soul Hackers music activated, and I was like, oh wow, that's crazy that it's like so consistent. After 25 years, the game Soul Hackers still sounds like Soul Hackers. Like Soul Hackers 2 still sounds like the original, and it's really cool. It's like sounds like the original, but obviously it's newer. And in my opinion, it's a lot better. Some of the tracks are like, they're banging, bro. Like they're really, really good and really catchy. And so Atlas never misses with the music. They did not miss this time. They really know how to direct their new people that they hired. I don't think they compromised any quality in the music and the art of this game, like, at all. But talking about quality, what about the gameplay? Now, I told you that I've been seeing a lot of reviews online, like IGN, like whatever, etc, all those types of sites online, and they always kind of gloss over the combat, and they're like, yeah, it's good, yeah, it's addicting, and then they just kind of move on over to what they didn't like. Bro, why did they do that? They shouldn't do that. The gameplay is so freaking good, man. Like, when they say it's addicting, like, it is really addicting. I agree with them, and it's also really complex. Like, I'm only 25 hours in, and I'm glad I played kind of 25 hours instead of like they originally planned, like 20 hours before I made this video, because in the 20 hours it was way more simple. Like, you're still kind of getting used to it and how it works with the commander skills, like the stack system and the bonuses, various bonuses you can get, but in the 25th kind of hour, like, you start getting like different like Sabbath skills that are called like tandem skills, like on your demons that activate, because you know about the stack system, right? Like, you hit a weakness, a stack appears, you hit another weakness, a stack appears, and they kind of stack up. And originally you'd think, since there are 4 party members, you can get a maximum of 4 stacks, right? But actually no, because if you do the Axis, which is like this game's, or the Matrix, excuse me, Soul Matrix, which is like this game's version of like Tartarus or like Mementos from Persona 3 or 5, or like the Amala Network from Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne, you can get these like add-ons, bonuses to your characters. That's like, well, if you hit a weakness with this specific element, like for example, I have one for Ringo, which is like, if you strike a lightning weakness, instead of getting just 1 stack, you're gonna get 2 now, right? And so I have that. I went, like, as soon as I saw that, I was like, bro, that's really good, because I get way more damage. And then I put that on all my characters, on Arrow, on Saizo, on Melody, on Ringo, and now and I was at this point where like I had freaking like 8 stacks on like a team, and man, I did so much damage, and it was so cool, and it felt really satisfying. But these tandem skills as well that I was talking about earlier, they also activate like in the middle of the Sabbath attack, which is like this game's version of kind of like the all-out attack. And it's like, they give you various effects, like, hey, do you want to heal and you can cure your ailment with this demon, or do you want to poison the entire enemy team, right? And you can activate those with like an action button, like kind of prompt type thing, and it's really cool. It adds like kind of complexity to what you can do and how you can defeat enemies, how you can keep yourself alive, and it's especially useful and really involved in the harder difficulties. I downloaded the free DLC of the very hard difficulty, because, you know, like, when I play these games, especially the mainline games, I just want to play them. I want to be there for like forever and never stop being there. Right? That's just the type of gamer I am. So I got the hardest difficulty, and the very hard. You can't use items, right? you can't use items, and I don't believe they changed like the values of like the health of the enemies or the damage that they can do to you. I think it's the same as in hard, but they just the gimmick is that you can't use items in very hard. And so I'm over there with no items, man, and I have to make use of these tandem skills to the best of my ability, the commander skills, which you can after a certain turn you can like change a demon, because you can change demons in this game, or after like 6 turns, for example, you can add like double stacks to your weaknesses, plus that ability that gives you that attribute that you can pick from the soul matrix on your characters that gives you an extra weakness when you strike with a certain element, and then you can have like triple stacks, like 3 stacks per character if everybody stacks a weakness, and then you're over there with like 12 stacks accrued and you're just blowing everything up. Like it's really useful in those harder difficulties, and it really does make you feel like you accomplished something by the skin of your teeth, because these guys are hitting hard and you've run out of like spirit points, like MP, and you're just like you're like freaking out, and but you get it done, and it's so good. It's so satisfying. The complexity is there, and it's still growing, because also you can upgrade your comp to, again, even more effects that you can add onto it, even more bonuses that you can upgrade it with, that lets you traverse, that lets you go through the game with better abilities, better powers, that lets you customize the way you play more. Like there are these things called mystiques that you equip on your character, and you initially only have one, and it's like, oh well, with this mystique you can do like electricity augment 3, for example. Like you can do 10%, or you can do like 30% more damage or 20% more damage, and then you're like, okay, that's cool, man, like customization and everything. But then you go to the comp smith and you upgrade your comp again, and then it's like, oh, now you can have 2 mystiques on one character, and so it's like, okay, I have increased 30% damage on my lightning, but now I can even add on to that and equip like a ruin augment, which increases the effectiveness of my ruin skills, you know, my ailments, also by like 20-30%, and it's like your character is OP broken. And then you go face the bosses, and now they're giving you a run for your money, and that's important, because it never feels like you're like in Persona 5, where it felt like you could do too much and nobody stood a chance against you. In this game you can do a lot, and the bosses can still kick your ass if you don't pay attention. If you're not on your game, you're kind of thinking and strategizing, they could still beat you. And that's something that's really good about this game. So I could gush on forever about the gameplay. People that kind of gloss over it in their reviews are, in my opinion, like they're not giving enough credit to the game. Like I'll just be straight up, they're not giving enough credit to the game. But you know, I have to move on. I could speak about it forever. I could. It's great. I love it. But number 5, what about the DLC? So everybody's favorite topic, of course. You know what? Look, my stance on this, it's probably not that popular. I'm kind of like in the middle of like everybody, because I know people are fed up, especially here in the United States, in America, in the West, where there's a lot of microtransactions in the gaming industry, and you know, companies kind of taking advantage of their players, of their loyalty, to put in extra transactions that they have to do to like pay to win or whatever. The problem with those companies, and the difference between them and like Atlas, for example, let's take like Blizzard and like Atlas, is that Blizzard used to make good games, and then they added microtransactions, and it was like, okay, but then the quality of their games started sucking. It started going down a lot. And then they still had the microtransactions on top of it. So it was like, okay, now you're trying to cheat me for sure, because you're not giving me a quality product, and you're throwing me these like gacha mechanics at me to like take my money, and you're not even trying to a little bit to like let me have some fun. Atlas, on the other hand, I would be mad at them about the DLC if the game sucked. It does not suck. It does not suck. And actually the opposite. It's like extremely good. And so yeah, I mean, I'm not mad at them. They want to make bank. Okay, make your bank. However, if you ever make a bad game, I will get on your ass, because I don't think it's right. And ideally, even now, I wish you wouldn't have the DLC, but hey, whatever. If you make good games, fine. I don't agree with you making demons like Mara and like Tsitsimital or whatever like DLC, or Masakado DLC when they are not DLC in other games. Like if you're gonna make DLC demons, make brand new DLC demons that are things that we won't feel cheated because you can just turn on Shin Megami Tensei 5 and like get them for free, or like Persona or whatever. Like that feels kind of bad, and I don't like that, right? However, and I'm not completely mad at you because again, your game is really good. However, it'd be better if you stop doing that, and the next time you make a game, if you're gonna do this, then at least add some actually new content, and don't put like the demons that everybody loves like behind a paywall. Like that's kind of scummy. Like come on, man. But anyway, dungeon design. So this is what I've been looking at from the various reviewers on the internet. And what's in common with like kind of all of them, or most of them, is like a bland visual design for the dungeons, or like bland dungeon design. You know what? This is where I kind of want to talk about comparing apples to oranges instead of apples to apples, because it's just the way this game is designed and the way the dungeons are designed in Soul Hackers 2 are not meant to be like Persona 5 or Shin Megami Tensei 5. Even between Persona 5 and Shin Megami Tensei 5, they are not an apples to apples comparison. In Persona 5, you have palaces, which are linear dungeon progression, right? And then in Shin Megami Tensei 5, you have an open world exploration, right? Open world exploration and palaces are not the same, right? So why would you compare Soul Hackers to dungeon design, which is not open world, which is not a linear level like a palace? Why would you compare the Soul Hackers 2 dungeons to Persona 5? Like, that is not an apples to apples comparison. If you want to criticize the Soul Hackers 2 dungeons designs with something that makes sense, that's of the same type, of the same DNA as what Soul Hackers 2 is, then compare it to something more like, let's see, Soul Hackers, the original, right? Or even more recent, Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne, right? Because the dungeons are supposed to feel like a maze. They're supposed to feel like you're kind of going and you go around the corner and you hit a dead end and you're like, oh crap, and then you turn around and then that freaking demon shows up and like they're chasing you, you have to knock him down, and then another one appears that you can't knock down, and then you like turn around and you're like, oh crap, and then you keep on running, and then another like 3 appear like right in front of you and you have to react quick or they will get you into combat with a massive disadvantage. That's the type of the design that you should be comparing it to, not to Persona 5 palaces, because it's not a Persona 5 palace and it's not an open world where you can say like, oh man, I just wish it were this. It's like, okay, well, like you may wish that, but compare Persona to Persona and compare Shin Megami Tensei 5 to like Shin Megami Tensei 5. And actually Shin Megami Tensei 5 was a change from the formula. Yeah, they still had some dungeons, like maze-like dungeons, like Soul Hackers 2, with like the heaven and like the hell type archetype areas. So they differed in that, but in Shin Megami Tensei 4, it was kind of like a little like open world-ish as well, like Shin Megami Tensei 5. So there was at least like some kind of precedent for that there. And this game is more traditional and more classic in their dungeon design. It's a traditional dungeon crawler. Like you go, as I told you, like you go through like samey looking areas, and you try not to get killed, and you try to find the exit or the next area, and that's how the game plays. And a lot of classic Shin Megami Tensei enjoyers will like that a lot. I think so, and that's kind of what I've been seeing. Maybe it's my confirmation bias, like, but I've been seeing like comments on YouTube videos, and everybody's like, oh, wow, everybody said this game was mid, but yeah, it's actually really good. Well, I wonder why. It's because you're watching a like a Soul Hackers 2 like Atlas YouTube video, because you are an Atlas fan and you are used to the type of gameplay in Soul Hackers 2 because you've seen it in like other Shin Megami Tensei games, and of course you're gonna like it because it's made for you. It's not made for like some rando dude that doesn't like traditional classic dungeon crawlers like mazes. It's made for you, who is used to this and who likes this. So that's I'm just gonna get off my like soapbox there. It's like, bro, compare apples to apples, not apples to oranges. They're different things, and I get it. Hey, I'm not telling you to like you can't speak and you can't say that you would prefer something like Palaces and Soul Hackers 2. But these are 3 different pillar franchises of one company. Yes, the same company makes them, but it's different studios, right? So The Shin Megami Tensei studio, I don't really remember what they're called, but they are making a certain type of game. Yes, it's familiar, but it's different where it counts. All right, and this is becoming a theme in this video. In Persona, yes, it's familiar, but it's different with the palaces, right? In Shin Megami Tensei, it's the open world now. And then Soul Hackers, it's something classical, something traditional, but spruced up, right? Same, familiar, but different, right? So that's just what I want to say about that. I wanted to kind of talk about that because it was kind of annoying that they're like, oh, it's not Persona 5 palaces. Well, yeah, I mean, like, you want to play Persona 5 like over and over, go play Persona 5. Or like wait for Persona 6 or something, man. But like, this is not that. There are no social links or anything. There are some like kind of social and that's probably why they're kind of comparing it to Persona 5, because there's like a little, like, there are soul levels in this game, and the more you like hang out with your teammates, or you say like you say things that they want to hear, like their soul level increases and they unlock more power, like more bonuses, right? And so they're like, okay, well, that's kind of like Persona 5, so why can't I compare the dungeon design to Persona 5? But see, when you compare the social aspects of this game to Persona 5, then you're comparing social aspects of Soul Hackers 2 to social aspects of Persona 5. So that's something fair that you can compare, right? Because it's apples to apples, social aspects compared with social aspects. But you can't compare the dungeon design here, which is like, again, a maze, to a linear palace design in Persona 5. That's just, you can't really do that. It's different. But anyway, I just wanted to talk about that. Those are my first impressions. I'm loving the crap out of this game. 9 out of 10 for me, straight up. And I may be one of the like few people that that you watch or that you read or whatever that believes this. But this game really is something else. I'm really enjoying it, and I hope you will enjoy it too. And if you've been kind of on the fence of getting the game, look, man, like, just give it a chance. It's good. It really is good. And if you don't like it, well, I mean, man, I'm sorry I failed you, but I'm sure you will like it. I recommend it. I recommend it a lot. I was really worried because of their reviews. I don't want to say they were full of crap, because, I mean, they were just giving their opinion. So, I mean, it's subjective, but hey, they were full of crap. It's good. It's really good. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for watching the video. Hope I didn't bore you to death. Hope you enjoyed my rambling. And I will see you next time. I'll get back to playing Soul Hackers 2. I'm working on something very, very big, and I can't wait to release that. But I think I'm going to finish Soul Hackers first. Soul Hackers 2 first. But I'll see you soon with more Atlas news. See ya.